Hopefully it got that in frame. Hopefully the camera's straight, I'm not gonna lie. It doesn't look like it from this angle. Cool. How's it going, YouTube? DJ Myst here. I'm back. Sorry that it took so long. You guys are probably wondering where I've been. I will try not to extend the explanations too much in this video, and my apologies for the bad hair day. I'm getting old, just like all of us. It's getting a lot harder to cover up this receding hairline, but that's besides the point. Anyhow, as far as where I've been, so 2024 has been really busy. I actually started a new position at work, and that's been kicking my tail like a lot lately. On top of that, something kind of cool and interesting that I'm not going to go into detail, I just want y'all to know about it. I have actually started I've been doing a lot of writing and a lot of sketching for a manga / anime series that I'm trying to make happen, and I don't know how long that's gonna take, by the way. So don't expect something in the next few months and then in the next year even. This is very much it's an idea I've had in my mind for a while. It's just I didn't start till I want to say it was December actually. So last year, the tail end of last year is when I started drawing it. But I've been really focusing on that. So even on my days off, I will draw for hours or type for hours, what I want to incorporate in this. So if that happens, I hope it happens. I'm gonna really try to hold myself accountable for this, because I don't want it to be some pipe dream. I think it's a really cool idea, and I really hope that it becomes a thing. But that's one of the things that's been keeping me distracted. Besides work kicking my tail, let's go into some more serious things that I've mentioned. Yeah, man. Speaking of work, the tail end of 2023 was terrible. My mind and habits went to some dark places. So I was drunk a lot of the times on my days off. I just stayed drunk whenever I wasn't at work, and that hindered me from honestly from working on these. So don't mind me. Sorry, I'm just trying to not get my laptop to go to sleep. So yeah, honestly, that really kept me from doing a lot of these reviews. So that being said, I'm first and foremost, because I'm gonna always be transparent with you guys. I am not sober, all right? I'm abstaining from alcohol, but I am not sober. So there's a difference. I haven't drank alcohol in a good while now, but I never quit. That's the thing. Now, did my habit get out of hand? Yes. Oh my gosh, very much so. That was bad. That was very bad. So am I abstaining from it for a good reason? Yes. But no, I'm one of the few people that I actually like the taste of alcohol. Specifically, actually, no, I'm not going to go into that. No, but I actually do like the taste of alcohol, and I do like to enjoy it. But abusing a substance, that's a different story. That should never happen. So that's am I abstaining from it? Yes, until I can do better. But that's for me and the therapist to handle, really. Right now, I've been completely dry, and don't think that's some type of accomplishment. No, it's, again, I need to stress this. I am not sober. I just am holding off because it was getting in the way of a lot of things like this, and you guys shouldn't be, how do I say this? You guys shouldn't be, man, there's a word for it, and I can't think of it on the spot. But anyways, you guys basically, I should be able to create content for you guys on a regular basis. Even though I'm not gonna lie, I don't know when how often these reviews are gonna come about. On that note, though, I was checking out my own shorts, and I'm actually kind of on schedule with when I thought I was going to be back doing these. So that's kind of cool. That was unintentional, by the way. I thought it was longer. Anyhow, now that we're done with that, let's get into the review. Why not? All right, cool. I appreciate you guys, your patience and all that, by the way. Not only with that long-winded explanation, but like you guys just sticking around and waiting for the next review. That makes you guys awesome, like all the time. All right, cool. Civil War is the fictional depiction of the real life events where after 4 years of the weakest leadership that the United States has ever seen, the United States turns on itself and begins fighting each other. I'm not taking back that joke, by the way, and I don't care who the hell I offended with that one. All right. No, it's not based on that. But anyways, no, it's actually a fictional depiction of what if the U.S. was to go enter a secondary civil war. And it is directed by Alex Garland. It stars Kirsten Dunst, my wife, and my girlfriend, Kaylee Spaney. I'm also not taking that back. Very beautiful ladies. But anyways, it stars Wagner Moura, and the other gentleman is, I believe, Stephen McKinley Anderson. And great cast, by the way. So it follows this small team of people, and it's concentrated on, and they're all journalists, and they are trying to get to the president for one final interview before he is taken out of office by force. That's the main plot of the film, and honestly, that's pretty cool. It's let me get into the good real quick. So that's one of the positives for me. Like always, I start these with the good. That's actually one of the positives for me. The story is actually very simple, very straightforward, and you have a team that you're following, and you know who you're following and for what reasons. I like that. It was, in my opinion, the simplicity of the film was actually a strength. And let's see here. Oh wait, yeah. My apologies. I wrote two versions of notes. One, my pen, the ink on my pen was running out, so I had to like rewrite it. So my bad. I'm a little, and I'm out of practice. I'm not gonna lie. I'm a little out of practice. Been like 4.5 months. Ouch. I'm so sorry. All right, cool. One thing that this movie is really good at is setting up tension. Oh my gosh. Like, this movie can go from like funny to serious, or even action-packed to serious, like on a dime, and it's ridiculous. It's amazing, but it's ridiculous. Like, it can make you just, it can manipulate your feelings of what you're watching on screen like so instantly that like it just, man, you are tense throughout a lot of this movie. But that's good. It really captured, like, the serious moments that take place in this movie are like, you can't help but feel tension. And that's amazing. So director Alex Garland did a very good job. Might I add, he was also the writer. So he wrote and directed this movie. And man, it spectacular tone in the writing shows. It's fantastic. It's amazing. And again, my apologies, little disoriented with the notes. That and my apartment's a mess. I don't know how much of this it shows but like, so my notes aren't really in the place that they normally are, and this microphone, in my opinion, is a little too short. Anyhow, going back. This one thing that's also really, really good in this movie is that it takes the idea, the concept of a secondary American Civil War very seriously. Like, it really does not mess around with that. It really, I feel like it really does capture the gravity of the situation and just, again, the seriousness of the events that take place in the movie. And I really appreciated it for that. It's because, here's the thing. those of y'all that are from the U.S. know that our country is in a lot of conflict right now, and as some people are joking about it, some people are being serious about it. I'm not too sure where I fall in that, to be honest. But if it were to happen, let me put it this way: I don't think a second civil war will occur here in the States. I feel like we are going to get ourselves together before that happens. However, do I believe that there's enough corrupt politicians in our system for a civil war to occur? Yes, but it wouldn't be like, in my opinion, what a lot of people think it's going to happen is like it'll be very much so red versus blue, very much Democrats versus Republicans. No, I actually, whoops, hit the mic there. No, I actually think it's actually going to be if it were to get that bad, I actually feel like it would be, honestly, the top 1% versus all the middle class. Because right now, the middle class is being very much forced down into the lower class. So that's what I think would happen as far as an actual civil war. We would just uprise, and it would just be anarchy towards our politicians, to be honest, and our richest, corporate baddies. Yay. I mean, cliche movie tropes there for you guys. But anyways, I digress. That's just my my 2 cents if it were to happen. But anyways, going back on that, if it was to be a more political and more territorial war, I think this movie does a very good job of showcasing that. So very good, very good props on that one. Another thing that's just fantastic about this movie is it's so going back on the whole like realistic or very good depiction of this secondary civil war, the military stuff. I mean, and most movies do a good job of this, but for those of y'all that don't know, I was in the National Guard from 2011 to 2017, so 6 years. I never deployed, by the way, so I never went to war, but I was a combat engineer, and I got all the training for stuff like this, and man, the accuracy for a lot of the military in this movie is fantastic. Like I believed literally every minute of it, and I think it's ridiculous how like good Hollywood and respectful of the military and war it's become. Because that's the thing. I think a lot of people, unfortunately, just when it comes to certain things, like I mentioned, some people are making jokes about, the U.S. going to a secondary civil war. The one thing that really gets on my nerves is that people nowadays they actually treat it seriously, but they used to not. But a zombie outbreak, like everyone always treats it as like it's not an excuse to get your firearms and let's go shoot stuff. No, it's not. And then there's still jokes about that being made today with the potential or the probability of another civil war. No. And I feel like, war, I mean, is often, they try to make it, they try to glamorize it, it's not, again, I've never been to war, but it's not a glamorous setting, and your games like Call of Duty are fun. That's awesome. But that's the thing, the separation of the two. There's certain times where it's entertainment. There's other times where it needs to be considered seriously. So I will say that I really do appreciate that this movie took a lot of things seriously as far as the way the military functions. One of the things that I thought was really cool was the realism behind it. So again, as I mentioned, I was a combat engineer, and one of the things that we learned is how to breach and clear a building or a room. And one of the things that I just found extremely accurate in this movie and was extremely tense, there is a scene with stairs that's just edge of your seat, man. And stairs is one of like the most horrific situations you could be in if you're in the military. It doesn't matter if you're on the high side or the low side of those stairs. Like stairs are, it's one of those few situations where you're equally balanced on how screwed you are, really. So usually, you know, if you have the higher ground, you have the advantage. Not with stairs. Stairs is a completely different ball game. Anyhow, another thing that was like crazy accurate. There is a scene where some gauze has to be used on a wound. That was also I took quite a bit of CLS, combat lifesaver courses while I was in the National Guard. So that was also very accurate, very scary, and it shows it in this movie. So I really like that. Man, in this review, I'm trying to go over the good, but this review is actually turning out to be a lot more serious than I originally thought it was going to be. Anyhow, let me see what else I got here on my notes as far as good. No, I went over that one. It's like, actually, cool. Oh, yeah. All right, cool. So, my last point for the good, and this is going back, you know, to easing the tone of this review in this movie, but like this movie, honestly, is really tense throughout most of it. So, I guess I don't know. I don't know what I expected when, you know, thinking this review was going to be all fun and smiles. But anyways, that third act is phenomenal. I love it. Oh man, it's spectacular. It's obviously that's where, you know, you want your grand finale. So that's where you're gonna, you know, that's where you're gonna invest all your, you know, that's where you're gonna invest all your excitement, you know, all your action, all your explosions, all everything, you know, as for any movie that is, you know, has action in it. But at the same time, again, like military wise, oh my gosh, very, 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 very realistic. And I love it. But that's, yeah, you will get the most, in my opinion, you get a lot from this movie as it goes. But for those that are really just wanting some action, you're going to get the most of that in the third act. And it is phenomenal. So look forward to that if you're really into action. But for me, like you're going to get a lot of that throughout the movie. So like look forward to all of it. But again, if you're just an action fiend, you're going to love the third act. Let's get into the bad, and I'll be honest, there's not much bad. I kind of had to, I'm going to address a few things that are bad for others and not really for myself. The first thing that's bad that I want to mention is the character development. So the character development is actually very shallow. You get to like these characters, you really do, but you don't get to know them. There's very little substance for these characters. But I'll say this, you know what? For a group of characters that, no, I guess that happens. I was gonna say like I don't see that often, but never mind. If you go back on what's it called? My review of what's that? Of The Shift. Yeah, no, there's quite a bit of characters actually that I ended up liking that I didn't get to know. So yeah, it suffers from that. As far as the story, it's probably a little too simple at times. These characters are great, and I really loved all of them, but you don't really know who they are, other than they're journalists and you know their names, and that's it. This one kind of bothered me, but not too bad. But everyone is, and I'm gonna kind of use this because like I'm gonna go into more or less nitpicks right after this main point, and it's stuff that the reason why I'm gonna address it is because a lot of this movie's strengths are also its weakness, but I'll get into that in a bit. So the ending, you've probably already heard about this. Those that have either watched the movie or just watched reviews on it. The ending, I'll say this: I didn't mind it. Like it did leave a lot to be desired. However, it wasn't terrible. I expected a little bit more of it. That's really it. Like once it got to the ending, I was just like, that's it. But it wasn't extremely bad, like that's it. And it kind of made up for it quite quickly too. But yeah, a lot of people are complaining about the ending. However, let me go ahead and just tie this into like nitpicks. I honestly didn't mind it because of the whole movie's simplicity. Certain things that the movie gets a lot of flack for, which I can understand, but at the same time, I'll be honest, I kind of from the marketing material, I kind of expected this, so it didn't really bother me. But the simplicity of the film. So the ending, it just happens. Again, without going into any spoilers, those of you that have seen the movie will already know what I mean. The ending just kind of happens, and if for me who loves story, I would normally complain about that. But again, it fit the entire, theme of the film. Really, simplicity is vastly present in this movie, so it didn't bother me. Some certain like there now when I go into these nitpicks, let me tell you, like, there are some things that I would have liked, but at the same time, I didn't mind the absence of. For example, an elaboration on the Civil War. You've probably seen a lot of that or heard a lot of that by now. It doesn't go into too much detail on the whole basis of the Civil War. You just know that they are currently in a civil war. Honestly, I didn't mind that. Then that's what I'm saying. Like, for me, it's a bit of a strength, but at the same time, I can see where it's a weakness. So that's why I'm addressing it. It doesn't elaborate too much on how we got to where we are in the movie. Going back into the whole situation of how this came about, it mentions some more hints at it, really, because I don't really recall them actually ever saying it. Basically, the U.S. One of the main causes of the Civil War is the U.S. kind of gets into a state of dictatorship. The president refuses to leave office. He's already had a third term, and I guess he's going for a fourth. Not too sure, but the president does have quite a few states on his side. So, but it's all implied. You kind of, honestly, you more or less have to know this from the marketing material than what it actually presents to you in the film. Again, that didn't bother me. I know it's bothering a lot of people. They want more explanation. I don't know why, to be honest. Maybe they just want that correlation with, like, again, what's currently going on in our country. But I don't know why. Like, for the sake of the film, as far as the film itself, it didn't bother me. But another thing I will say, speaking of Civil War, and I did mention, it does have actually a lot of action throughout. However, there's very few scenes. Most of the action is our characters going through certain conflicts as they make their journey to the present, trying to get this final interview. There is not much warfare. There's a decent amount, but I feel like personally, one more scene of like actual civil war going on would have been interesting. But again, I don't mind having missed out on that. Like, I don't mind that the main focus is you tagging along with these journalists. Honestly, the two main things that, and one of them is even like halfway, but my main bad thing, number one, is, again, the characters, you don't get to know them. And two, the ending, which, again, that's kind of like a half point for me, because like it really, the film really did recover itself pretty fast for me when it came to the ending. And it's crazy how and in that final act, like it just shifted tones like up and down for me so much, but it still came out pretty good for me. And then again, I'm just addressing nitpicks like elaboration. How did we get here? Like, elaboration on everything, and who the president is, why the president is where he's at, who follows the president, why are the there's four, I believe there's 4 sanctions of the U.S. So we really only get to know 2. when it comes to this movie. And again, you just kind of had to know more from the marketing material. But again, those are flaws that I guess I just want to address because most people have mentioned them, but I was very okay with them. So yeah, that being said, so yeah, all in all, this movie was really good to me. I loved it a lot. When I was actually writing down the points for this review, I actually had to reach, I had to think pretty hard for what I wanted to write as a negative. But the conflict when I was writing that is because when I gave this movie its score, all right, it's crazy because it's like, I've mentioned this before. Sometimes a movie doesn't get a good rating, even though I have a lot of good things to say about it, or vice versa. You know, like I say a lot of bad things about it, but it ends up having a pretty good rating regardless. And this one, I enjoyed it so much, yet I really had to sit and think, it's like, why didn't this movie get a perfect score? On that note, let's go ahead and go with the rating. Civil War gets an 8 out of 10. Awesome. Yeah, this movie's awesome. And that's the thing. So it didn't get a gift from God. It didn't get a 10. And I really had to like think, it's like, why wasn't it perfect? Why wasn't it perfect? I'm not gonna lie, it was very close to getting a 9, but it didn't. And I think honestly, whether you're enjoying this film for the curiosity, it was like, how does it depict the Civil War, or you're just an action fiend, or you're just wanting to be entertained, I think you're gonna get the full value out of it. So yeah, 8 out of 10, awesome. Yeah, sorry for fidgeting a lot. I've noticed that I do that a lot more these days, and I'm not sure why. Without getting too extensive, again, this isn't the only movie I've seen this year as far as theaters, and this channel is not limited to just theatrical releases. But it's the first one where I was like, okay, I owe it to you guys, and it was phenomenal. So like I had to. Cool. Other than that, thank you guys for your patience. Really. Again, there's a lot going on in my life, and also, even though this didn't hinder me, at least this time, I'm still actually, I've mentioned this before, I'm still pursuing acting. So that's another thing that's just going to get in the way. Now, I don't know how many roles I'm going to get this year, but just keep in mind that might stop me from dishing out these reviews. So other than that, I'm sorry to be long-winded like always. I always try to make these very concise, and then I end up like talking a lot more than I thought I would. So also, you guys, thank you so much. I have finally crossed 100 subscribers. I believe I have 102. That's awesome. Like, especially, and I'm so sorry. I feel really guilty actually for this one. Like, I crossed 100 subscribers like when I was at like my lowest point, like extremely drunk and just not in a good place mentally. And it sucks because like that should have been a milestone. That should have been like celebrating a lot more and just been hyped for more, more reviews. And instead, y'all had to wait. So my apologies. But thank you. Thank you a lot. And my apologies in advance. I really am going to try to be semi-regular with these. I'll try to do them when I can. But if, again, this anime and manga project it's honestly, it's almost like another full-time job. Like, I'm working on it quite a bit on my days off. And it's free. Well, this is free labor too. But it's free unpaid labor. Like, I'm hoping that one day it becomes a thing, and I'll make money from that. But right now it's just a lot of time investment. But I will say this: I am very happy with the way it's coming along, and I honestly see great. I don't know, like, I don't want to say potential. I mean, it does have great potential, but I'm great. I don't know what the word is. Anyways, I really do have a feeling that it's going to be something great. So wish me luck on that. I hope it becomes a thing. And but anyhow, at least the very good news is, at least for the most part right now, because I really didn't like how much it was hindering me. I am abstaining from drinking, so yay. Um, so that's good. Hopefully, I can deliver some more movie reviews. But other than that, you guys, I always say this all the time, but you guys are awesome. Like, I really appreciate you guys, and I hope that. I'll be honest, I was very nervous. I'm out of practice, so like if I seemed a little bit off, besides the fact that I was standing awkwardly and fidgeting a lot, I think it's also, very much out of practice. So my apologies for that as well. But you guys, y'all really don't know how awesome y'all are. I really appreciate it. Like I really, you guys make this worthwhile, and yeah. I guess without, honestly, I can see myself get into like a long-winded appreciation speech, which, not saying that y'all don't deserve that, y'all definitely do, but I feel like it's just going to turn more into a rant than an actual, like, me addressing you guys and me giving thanks to you guys. So I'm going to go ahead and end the review right there. I hope you guys are watching a bunch of movies. Hope you guys are enjoying those movies. I hope you guys are watching some of the movies that I review and kind of, give your 2 cents about it, or have your own 2 cents about it. Comments always welcomed, of course. By all means, tell me what you thought of it. And yeah. I'm sorry. I really, honestly, I hate that I have to cut myself off, but I really do want to. I can only say thank you so many times, and I feel like I failed to express how thankful I am for you guys many times. But anyhow, hope to get more in the swing of things. Hope to get more practice again, because I am out of practice, and hopefully the next review is a little bit more, I don't know, structured. Like always, this has been DJ Myst. You guys are amazing. Wow, I really messed up my own exit. Oh well. Peace. Civil War is a fictional depiction of the real life event of June 6th, 2021, where after 4 years of the weakest leadership that our country has ever seen, the country turned itself in the country. Dang it. I was totally hoping I wasn't going to butcher that. All right, this sucks.